certifying badasses one podcast at a time. Teaching you to love Monday. Check your baggage at licensed-to-be-badass.com and hop on the bus to Badassville. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
Mustang?
Yeah.
Why I'm so excited is my favorite car, and my dad and I got hit by I should probably save this.
No,
We got hit by a train in a 63 Mustang in Oregon and lived to tell about it.
Wow.
Totaled the car. Upside down. Got hit by a train. Yeah. Oh,
See ya.
pictures. You know, I haven't been on Facebook, my head hurts.
This is what happens when you book Teri Sue Parker in the car.
Oh, hi.
It's like your publicist comes out and
Yes, my
introduces
publicist.
himself. Okay, so Kelly Orchard, Badass Certifier. I just threw her in the car because Teri Sue's actually my neighbor.
Yes, we're very close. In fact, I didn't know how close, but I was walking with Jack Russell one day, and there's some lady in this beautiful red car, my favorite car, Mustang. It's Teri Sue. And I turned around, and I was like, "Merry Rotary," and I was like,
whatever, lady.
We were like trying to have a conversation, like so far away of dogs barking, but we realized that yes, they live right around the corner. We're neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I haven't brought you some food or goodies.
Yeah, or vice
and
versa.
you don't have dogs. You must not walk dogs. Because if you walk dogs, you'd see me 4 times a day.
Well, okay, my mom and dad have a dog, but she's too old to walk now.
So are they. They're 15 each. Otis and Buddy.
Otis? Your dog's name is Otis?
Well, it's after Otis, Oregon. So they said to name your dog after something that makes you happy.
Okay.
So I named it Otis because that's where we had our house. I had my girls there. Mm-hmm. So it's after Otis, Oregon.
Okay, we had 3 cats all named Otis.
No way.
The first 2 cats that I had when I was a little girl, I named Otis.
Oh my God.
And I don't even know why. Nobody knows
why.
Well,
there's Milo and Otis, and then there's Otis from Garfield, and there's Otis from some other show. I go, no, it's after Otis, Oregon, and actually the fire chief was called Otis Winchester, and there was an Otis Cafe that almost burnt down. So Otis is a little tiny town on the Willamette, or on the Salmon River, about 20 minutes from Lincoln City. That's where I had the TV show and the radio station.
Oh, so now we're going to talk about that. So it's, it's almost as if you've joined us in the middle of a conversation. I haven't even introduced ourselves.
Yeah, not shy.
Not shy at all. I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier with Mustang Monday, and this is Teri Sue Parker with the Good Samaritan
Community Food Pantry, the founder of this crazy thing that started with the pandemic.
Yes, and and that's when I learned about you. She came to my Rotary Club to speak one afternoon.
Michael Shirley invited me.
And he's already been in the Mustang too. So
he had before me. Thanks, Mike. You always got to be one up. Okay.
Yeah, he did one a long time ago.
Oh my God.
Well, it's like Myriad of Rotary. It's been easy because. It's like, come on, you guys, I drive the car here every Monday. Let's go get in the car.
Oh, how fun. They don't have to go anywhere.
Just don't have to go anywhere. Well, this one was just actually, this is easier.
Oh, yeah,
it's like she literally lives around.
The dogs.
We're in front of her house, and actually, really, this is the first time we've had a conversation. I already feel like I just know you.
That's kind of how it went. When I saw you at the Rotary after I spoke, and then so sweet. I get this call from this little lady. I'd like to, I want to volunteer. And it was just like, well, I'm so-and-so. So I'm Kelly Orchard's mom. And it was like, I want to volunteer. I go, well, we go pretty slow because it's about 110 right now. And we pack boxes. So as soon as it cools off, which is pretty soon, I'm going to have her over and have her do a little section of the packing of the boxes, of the food boxes that go out.
Well, that's very nice. Since then,
she volunteered.
She did volunteer, and since then we've had some.
What?
Well, my parents. Okay, so my parents are living with me now, and they're both 83 years old. And
oh my God! That's what I told her. We move really slow.
Yeah, well, they move really slow too. In fact, I told her, I said, you could walk there. Oh yeah, no, better what? You better take your scooter there.
Exactly.
But they have, but they both have scooters, and I'm having to get a caregiver to come and help. So
oh my gosh.
The caregiver might be able to help bring them over here to do some.
I should be bringing her food boxes. That's who I take care of, the ones that can't get out.
Well, I take care of them.
Well, I gotta help you. Who helps you?
Okay, great.
Who helps you? You have to be helped too.
That's a very good question.
I want to feed everybody.
Yeah. Well, so tell me how that started. And it's like I want to get to know you, but can you give me abbreviated version of the food pantry and how it became about?
Food pantry was the craziest thing ever. I think nobody's been through a global pandemic. In fact, I didn't know what a pandemic was. I was working in home care as a supervisor. So I was going into assisted livings and I was checking on making sure that they were getting the care they were supposed to. I would go in homes and make sure that the caregivers were doing that. I did all the marketing, the networking, the social media. just about everything, and did a little bit of hospice. I was with people when they were passing, and it was just, oh my gosh, this is my passion. I had found it. And I was there for 6 months, and out of the blue, I was at a grocery store, and the whole world changed. It was March 13th, Friday the 13th, and a little bit after the morning, and all of a sudden Albertsons got absolutely crazy. People were knocking little ladies over. There was the line started going back farther, and school got out. My phone was being blown up, like the mixer was canceled. School is out. Everybody go home, shelter in place. And I saw panic and fear in everyone. And what I really saw was the elderly just trying to get the little bit of groceries and being knocked over. So people were hoarding toilet paper and stuff. And I went, the way I was brought up and the way I thought was, oh my God, I'm going to start hoarding. I left my basket. I asked him to put it away. I came home and I said, I yelled up at my husband and said, I'm starting a food drive. We're going to run out of food. Something's going on. It's a global pandemic. There's a virus out there. But what I just saw in the store scared me. But when I get scared, I go into action. So it was like, what can I do right now? Is all I could think about, being a chef kind of by trade, was to start collecting food. And for the people like those little ladies that can't get out, and for the cancer people that are going to be immune, they can't get out. So in my mind, I spelled Temecula wrong. I put a sign out in my front yard. I yelled up at Bruce and said, you're not going to have a man cave anymore. I'm going to start a food drive, which I just thought I'd use. It's a 3-car garage. The first part, I got a little table, put a tablecloth on it, put a little red bin out front, and started posting food drive, Operation Temecula Food Drive is what I'll call it. And that's what I did. And I started saying, we need canned goods, because we just had my fridge. And little by little, to go from there to here, I just kept posting. And the first thing that showed up on the front doorstep, the feeling that I got, I had tears running it was from Netta, from the Temecula Chamber. Actually, it was a turkey breast and some canned food. So I had a table and I just started collecting food. I went on the app next door, and that was the 30 neighborhoods around me, and I just said I want to collect food. And I said, well, how am I going to do this safely if we're on, we're not supposed to, we're supposed to be shelter in place. Well, the elderly are already shelter in place. They don't know how to go on Instacart. They don't really know. Some of them don't have computers. They don't know how to, where's their food coming from? They'd be scared.
Firsthand, when all this stuff started, that's why I brought my parents down here, because they were living up in the high desert. And because I just knew, it was like, they're not going to be able to navigate all of this.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So my mind went, okay, I know. I've got this little red car, and I have a great immune system. And what I think I'm going to do, because through working in home care, I had built a pretty good reputation in town, so I kind of knew a lot of the seniors, where they were kind of, so I put it out, if you're in need or a senior, reach out to me privately, because that was a big thing too, asking for help. Nobody knew how.
Right.
They're not going to call you up and say, I'm out of food at 70, 80 years old. And then I realized the veterans, and then the cancer patients, and it just kind of went foster families.
Grew.
It grew, and what was crazy was we made it different, because I wanted to do it kind of healthy, fresh food. And then our refrigerator, we started posting for refrigerators. Oh my God, we have so much food. And then Sprouts started coming, and people started bringing fresh food. But what was crazy was, they're not going to come pick it up. We're in a neighborhood. I can't have cars lined up like Mission of Hope does an amazing job. But we're now into the 3-car garage where there's 5 refrigerators and freezers, and there's people donating stuff all over. So I thought, I'll just pack up boxes, put them in my car, and go drop off, ring the bell. People were peeking through, and I would put a note in it saying that the food was safe, that it's been Lysol. I was spraying it down. I had the mask. This was at the very beginning, back in when it first started. And little by little, I would get a phone call, and there'd be a note, and I would leave my number, because I wanted them to know, are they going to feel safe to eat it?
Right.
I mean, these are a lot of seniors. It's like, oh my gosh, with everything going on in the world that day, or what was going on that week, I thought, leave them a little inspirational note and just say, it's Teri Sue, we live in the neighborhood, and we just want to, lift you up, make you feel better. The food is safe, it's been handled by one person. If you have any special needs or know anybody else in need. And it just grew into this amazing, everybody wanted to get in on it. Everybody wanted to donate. And so that's kind of where it started. And the food started building, and it went to, someone said, you better turn it into a 501c3, because you're going to be able to help more people get grants, and with all that stuff plugged in, your electric bill is going to be thousands. Because we have 17 now.
Wow.
And we started out with just mine. And so I just said, I need a used refrigerator.
When you point that, it's like it's all in your garage.
It's all in my
17
garage.
refrigerators
Yeah,
in your
so
garage.
it's freezers, refrigerators, and then now it's going kind of up to the upstairs because it grew so well, and everybody needed something to do. Everybody was shelter in place. They wanted to do something. They couldn't do something. They wanted to stay within the bounds of being safe and protective, but yet I couldn't just, I got laid off, or I more or less asked to. It was like I went from 60 hours to 20, and I am not a secretary. The first call that I dropped, I go, you guys, I gotta go. Let me go. I think I could do better in the community, just on my own, and then we'll see what happens. If it lasts over a month, we'll see what happens. And they did, and I appreciated it, and I just went 100 miles an hour doing it. And the response was so great that it went into applying for a 501c3, saying, well, it can't be Operation Effective the food drive. It's not a food drive anymore. It's literally people like Delighty came and put shelves in, and then people were bringing refrigerators. Then it was also their pets. So we thought, well, if they can't feed themselves and they can't get out, they're not going to be able to get food. They can't afford to feed their pets either. And I realized that they're going to have a really hard time asking for it too. And how I knew that is because I needed a food pantry. Many, many years ago, over 20-some years ago, I was in a position where I had to walk into a food pantry, and 2 bags of food and a voucher for a hotel changed my life completely. So, and then with my background in cooking and stuff, so when I packed the boxes, I thought breakfast, lunch, dinner. I was kind of in my mind watching them go through the bag. So it wasn't just cans. It had to be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if I had to take a little bit out of my pocket and do it, it's like I wanted them to be, I wanted them to be proud of the boxes they were getting, and I wanted them to look nice. It wasn't just like, here's a bunch of cans, figure it out. Because I know you need more than just cans. So it was fresh fruit, and then people just kept donating. I mean, it was just and still are. It grew, and then the holidays came, and back in '97, I had a little TV show called Wake Up Lincoln City.
Here is our broadcasting connection.
Yes, and this seriously is my passion, even though people don't listen to radio anymore, was back in, I reinvented, what? Well, I mean radio. No, I don't know that. Okay, I didn't say that. Can you edit it?
No, we're going to keep it because the perception is real.
Radio's not there
Radio's
anymore.
not what it was before. And I know.
Exactly it. And I remember I was waiting tables, and the owner of a radio station in Lincoln City came up and said, if you ever get tired of waiting on tables, you would be great at sales.
Well,
And I went from that day and walked into the Ocean Lake Broadcasting and said, here I am.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, I was...
you were running the place.
Yeah, I was sales manager, and then I would go out and I'd meet the community and the public, and they would get their trust.
But this was the television station.
Both.
Oh,
so
okay.
The television, that was Wake Up Lincoln City upstairs, and then the radio station, and then I went upstairs like, oh, this is kind of cool. And the lady that was hosting it was stepping down, and they're like, just go in and fill in for it one day. And that started a huge platform to do good, and that's really where the giving and the community service and, oh my gosh, doing all kinds of appearances. It wasn't about a beauty pageant or doing Mrs. Oregon, doing Miss Lincoln County. It was that I had a platform to help people.
That's my radio background. It's like I was on the air. My dad built radio stations.
Oh no!
And so my first job, in my workshops and stuff, I talk about my radio stories and how it kind of formed me. But my very first job, even though I was doing the news, and that's the story that I talk about.
Tried
doing the news at 16, 17 years old, and I was really bad. I sucked at it. But
I did the weather and passed out.
My first title was public affairs director, and so I was going out in the community and bringing them in
Account executive.
and having them do the public affairs shows and interviewing them. Right. So that's why this is like people think you're such a natural. Oh no, I was trained to do this since I was a teenager.
Yeah,
and so but you're right. It was fun. It wasn't about the fame or the celebrity. No. It was about what you could do with the community at a platform.
Right. Yeah. It was just like, well, you got to do something good with this because you're reaching all kinds of people. Now I got to cover storms. And oh my gosh, it was great. Yeah. So what I did...
So this was when? In the 90s?
This was 1997. So
in Oregon?
In Oregon, Lincoln City, Oregon. It was Ocean Lake Broadcasting, and it was all by far my all-time favorite passion job. It was just amazing. And then it turned into the TV show, being the host of Wake Up Lincoln City. And it was live. And it was in the morning, and it was at 9 o'clock, and I picked the guests, and I went and got the sponsors, and I interviewed, and we did live remotes, and I was a ham, and I loved it. Yeah. When the camera came on, I was more comfortable than when it went off.
Me too.
Like, we're not going to break yet. I'll talk to you. So kind of like the Kelly Clarkson kind of. But what happened was all that stuff that I learned then, I came up with Adopt a Family, in the radio station. And I remember one day looking from the radio station down to the TV station, looking down at the radio station, and we were doing Adopt a Family, and it was for women and children in shelters that just had to flee their homes. And I remember looking down, and the whole entire bottom floor of the radio station were gifts and presents and coats, and in Oregon you need umbrellas, and toys, and it was kind of a marathon. It was just filled up, and the feeling that I felt that day I wanted to create, because I went, what if people are this willing to give food weekly, because we deliver weekly, 7 days a week, because food runs out, you have to replace it. You can't just go give them a box and say good luck and I hope this box gets you through the next 19 months, which nobody knew. Here's for a week at a time. If we go into another week, we're just going to keep asking for food for you, and it's safe, and eat it. So I thought, the holidays are coming, what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? Nobody can go to their family, other families, everybody stay at home. We're open, we're shut, with all the protests going on and all that stuff happening. So I just posted, we need turkeys. 102 turkeys showed up. All the fixings. Every time I asked for something, not for myself, but for someone else, we got twice full. It was doubled and tripled. And I thought, okay, well, what I did in 97 was Adopt a Family. I saw that happen, and I said, why don't I have the families that were taking? So we had 230 families. So we had isolated seniors, cancer patients, veterans, foster families, families at risk, and entrepreneurs that did not know how to ask for help because their businesses just disappeared. And they were being opened up, shut down, opened up, shut down. So I said, if you know somebody in need, they would all private message me the address and the phone number or whatever. So I thought, what if we did a wish list for each one, just one thing? So with the food, it'd be a special food box on Christmas, and it would have like the roast or the main course, and then like some baked goods or something special. Let's make them festive. And everybody loved that. I mean, seriously, it was like the place to go get. It was like the happy place. And they wrote an article about it. It was like, what can we go do? We'll go ask Teri Sue what she needs. So we had baked pies, and we had, and then every single family, I think it was 89 families, seniors, veterans, kids, dogs, pets, were adopted. So the gifts started showing up. 5 trees showed up for people that didn't have tree. And Bruce and I were doing it with the truck. We couldn't have help in the pantry because we were supposed to be we didn't really know what was going on. So everybody's like, why didn't you get volunteers? I didn't want to break the law and get shut down, and I wanted to be respectful of my neighborhood. So you'd never know this is a food pantry if you walked in, which you will.
I know.
I wanted to be respectful because it's a great neighborhood and great neighbors, thank God. But little by little, then instead of coming home and seeing food lined up my doorstep, there was the gifts in the bags wrapped up. So I would get their wish list. If you could have one thing, what would you want? And put that list. People went out and bought the gifts, wrapped the gifts, bought them here, and I took pictures. So social media was a huge part of it. I go, I want you to be the good Samaritan. I wanted them to feel what I'd been feeling for the last year. So they went, oh my gosh, and they brought their kids. So for me, the way I was brought up, they were teaching their children we're
generosity.
We're giving this to a family that can't afford, something, or this thing, COVID was scary enough. This is how we can help.
So you completely not really reinvented yourself. You basically kind of rediscovered something from your past that you loved, and brought it up to provide a service to fill a need now.
Because it was like, I've done the whole, Woman of the World award. Like, it's not about the award. Now it is though about we need food. It never was, because it's just the way I was raised. Like being in the supermarket that day was not, oh my God, I better grab a whole bunch of stuff for Bruce and I and the dogs. Was leave the basket, go home, start. That's just who I am. That's just the way I thought, and it saved my sanity. I mean, it's been 23 months. And it has not slowed down a little bit in the summer, but the quality of the food that was showing up. And then I would go out and get Project Touch had a garden or 3 acres in Rainbow, and they contacted and said, how many boxes do you need? This stuff was amazing, like zucchini and squash. So they were eating very well. And then the crops died, and I said, okay, what are we going to do? Then we're going to find another farm. So it's a 60-hour-a-week job, and I have a couple volunteers. And the big part about this that's different is it's dropping it off at their doorstep, ringing the doorbell, and now they come out. So then they got to come out, and they got to see the face to the... I have so many new senior friends and veterans, and they would leave little things at the front door. I had this one veteran we have a giving table that I put out maybe for a couple hours, and people that are kind of shy about coming and getting it, they'll come like after dark or something, and I'll put their boxes out there. And I remember a veteran was just so proud that he was sitting out, and he texted me because I had Milvet. Raven was like, I've got a veteran, you know, he's in need, but he's very proud. So I'll leave stuff out on the table, and he doesn't have to ring the bell or anything, just come pick it up and quietly go. And he left me a Medal of Excellence, and it was a Marine.
Yeah.
And so we took care of him for about 6 to 8 months. And what's really cool, Kelly, is that the people that got back on their feet, instead of just keeping them home and keeping them isolated, because their families were being fed, because they were getting food, they were able to put tires on their car or pay their electric bill or pay their gas or do something that they needed to do besides buying food. When their food was taken care of. So half of those people now are donating back.
Giving back.
They're helping back. Can we write grants for you? So it's lifting people up so they didn't feel like they were getting a handout. But I know that's a saying people go, oh, a hand up instead of out. This seriously was, because they're getting back on their feet, and they're like, my husband went back to work. Thank you so much for the food for the last year. Because of that, you know, I was able to, we're back on our feet. We don't need it anymore, but we want to pay it forward. You know, and so it was just, it was awesome. It still is.
Yeah. You know, I got to say, it's like I've been doing these Mustang Monday interviews for a while now.
I've been watching him for the last 3 hours now. That's why I have
so you're the one.
Yeah, I was looking at him though, because I always I go, well, let's just see kind of how the.
Well, the funny thing is that I haven't talked much. It's like you're like the easiest.
Oh my God,
you're the easiest interview I've had. It's like I asked her, I think, one question. But that's I love it.
It's just an open book, and it's the passion.
It's great.
It's the passion that's coming out, I think I haven't cried, but it's like you know. I remember with the interviewing, it was just trying to pull things out of people. You don't ever have to pull anything out of me.
No, that's great.
Because it's if you have the passion and they're really true people and they're not fake, they don't have to sit and think of what they're going to say and make it up. Yeah. So the reason, and it's like, well, let the interviewer talk, is what Bruce said.
No,
let her ask you questions.
Did he really say that? What? Well, she didn't, Bruce. So you know, hey, but that's okay.
Hour went by, and
we were done.
We're going into Tuesday now.
It's like, oh, that's funny. So give me a tip. You know, like this whole thing's about a badass tip, but basically the tip.
And I love the word badass.
Badass.
I go, I have to get a ticket. Can I be a badass?
Yeah. Well,
so I need a ticket to that.
Okay. Well,
and can I say ass? Because
so here you get a sticker.
Oh Lord.
You know, we get a sticker.
Yay.
Give you one of those. Absolutely, I want you to come to the badass certification class.
Yay.
We're revamping it. You know, obviously I had to shut it down too because I couldn't do live classes.
So I have no. I mean, I kind of know.
You kind of know.
You have to be a badass woman.
No.
Bruce is like, can you be a badass man?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Say
absolutely
no.
For
Say
men.
no.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the License to Be Badass program was designed, you know, because I'm a licensed psychotherapist.
Okay, I read that too.
Yes.
Oh my God, she's a family counselor.
Right. So I'm actually legit, you know, psychotherapist, and so you know, part of my process was, you know, I wanted to work with badasses. I say that anybody who is stepping up and they've failed and they've struggled, they've gotten back up, and they're not quitting, and they know that sometimes they need to take a break. It's like you're badass just for surviving life.
Yes.
And so
you're badass for surviving a global pandemic.
Exactly. And so basically, the license to be badass was the whole thing about you know, the credibility of, you know, having a license. You know, kind of gives you more credibility.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So it's kind of like a positive affirmation. I'm a licensed badass.
Yes.
That's right.
And it builds trust.
Yes.
Yeah, because they have to trust you.
Yeah, so I have a whole program that I do, but the Badass Certification class is a 4-hour workshop where I teach you how to utilize music and neuropsychology and positive psychology to help create your badass soundtrack, so you, at an instant, you have something in your hand, a tool to help you build your confidence or, you know, calm you down or get you excited about something.
Calm you down would be a good one. I'm having a hard time
calming down
how
the
many
anxiety.
hours does it take for you to decompress? People say I go. Yeah.
So that's where the Badass Certification class is, and so basically at the certification class, I give you a little ID card that you're certified badass, and badass is an acronym, and it's just this creative process that I've, you know, developed. I'm a writer and a creative person.
I read all that. So it's you guys.
Wow.
You should interview him.
Oh, I will. He's next.
a writer, retired chiropractor.
Bruce
Parker, Dr. Parker, actually.
Dr. Parker.
But don't let that think that we, you know,
I like
we're
it.
Okay,
okay, so
the whole town.
So I pull up, and
he comes
out and he says, "I'm Teri Sue's publicist." And she's demanding I take pictures.
Oh my God!
I've never met the man, and I'm like, "Well, I'm Kelly."
And I didn't know.
It was great. Oh my God, he's the next one.
Kelly's here. He goes, okay. Well,
okay, I'm going out there with my phone.
Because he knows I like pictures, and it's funny. Real quick on the pictures is because I'm documenting life happenings. Because I lost my mom when I was 14. She was 40 of a brain aneurysm, and I have no pictures and my dad he had Alzheimer's and passed, but I don't have a picture in my head I do, but it's
Right.
fading.
Yeah.
But I don't have a picture of my amazing childhood that I grew up in Oregon of. And so I document everything. Not about, oh, look at us,
No,
but
so
I
it's
am
like-
a poster, and
Yeah.
I am like,
Yeah.
if you don't like it, get off my page.
Yeah.
Because I document my life through pictures, because
I
I
love
don't
it.
have any
Yeah.
from my child. And I had a badass childhood.
And that is a badass
awesome.
tip right there.
What?
Document your life.
I had
all
to.
the good of it. I mean, all people on social media, it's like it's all the selfies and stuff
No,
like that. But I
no,
love what
no,
you're
it's
saying.
about the givers.
memories and the givers.
That's
and,
why I every single donation, if I can, every single person that gives, they go, oh, I don't need recognition. I go, it inspires other people to give, and you're the good Samaritan. It takes it off me. It takes the pressure off me. And so everybody holds the sign up. And if I catch them giving a donation, then we have thousands of pictures of all the good going on. At Christmas time, it was just like,
well, we're gonna have to team up on something, some sort of a badass.
oh yeah,
something.
And we've got, like I said, the holidays are just
Yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah.
So we're going to do adopt a family, adopt a vet, adopt a thing again. We'll do Thanksgiving. We'll do Halloween. I don't know. I don't think there was one. Oh, we did Mother's Day or adopt a sweetheart. And I have to say too, Temecula and Marietta, Menifee, if it wasn't for the community donating, we have not received one grant to this date, because I don't know how to fill them out. So looking for a grant writer. It's all.
I think Raven's pretty good at that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And she said, "You're going to."
She's one of my original certified badasses.
Oh my
you know that.
gosh, I have followed
Yeah.
her. Like, we met online, and she started giving me the leftovers from the care
Well,
packages.
Raven and I met. Actually, she came to my very first
I
inaugural
could see her as
badass
badass.
certification class.
Yeah.
And it's been a friendship ever since. I love
and
Raven.
I met her on like during the pandemic. So for 7-8 months, I didn't know her, but once every few weeks when they did care packages, Bruce would come and go, delivery, Raven was here, and she'd always come at night, and we'd look at there'd be 13 boxes of goodies, fillers for the
I don't know
boxes.
where she gets her energy from.
I don't either. Well, she told me, she goes, be careful, you're going to crash. And she was right. I was like, Mother's Day, I was hiding in the back of the house, just leave it on the porch.
Yeah. Yes.
But
All right.
if it wasn't for such an awesome community that we live in, though,
Right.
seriously, and they gave until they just couldn't give anymore, so we're just going to do it again.
So, what would your badass tip be?
For life or for
Perfect. Yeah.
just stay true to yourself, and no matter what's going on in the world around you, if you just focus and stay true to who you are and what your gut is telling you, do that, and just keep doing it, and don't ask for permission, because if I would have asked, oh, can I start a food drive? Oh, can I go get permits?
Everybody would have told you all the things that would go
oh,
wrong.
this isn't a good time to pass food out.
Right,
You can't do this. You're in a
exactly.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So do what
Do
your
it.
heart and your passion tell you.
Right.
Do it, and then figure the rest out later.
That's right.
If you have a passion, do
love
it. Figure the rest out later. Because if you keep waiting and asking, it'll never become what it has become today.
That's the tip. If you have a passion, do it and figure out
Ask
the rest.
questions later.
Ask questions later. I love it.
What is it? Don't ask for permission.
Ask for forgiveness.
I'm
Yes.
not asking for forgiveness
Yeah.
because 22 months into this.
And you're all good.
It's
yeah,
all
you're
good.
a rock star. All right, Kelly Orchard, the badass certifier with Mustang Monday, and Teri Sue Parker from founder of the Good Samaritan
Community Food Pantry.
Got to get the community thing in there, don't you?
You do, because it was the community and the chambers and the Rotarians and every group possible who gave. I didn't go out and buy all this food and all these gifts and everything. It was a community coming together during a global pandemic that rocked it.
All right. So here we are, reminding you. Repeat with me, okay?
Okay.
All right. So be bold. Be brave. Be confident.
Be badass.
If you enjoy these interviews, you can watch videos of Mustang Monday on Kelly's YouTube channel, too. Grab your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com.